going to be awkward. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome into another episode of Influencer Spotlight. My name is Jack, and I am joined here with Mao, I'm going to say.
Yes, that's how you say it.
So it's a bit awkward. A lot of times with celebrities and people that create, I tend to build a bit rapport with first, and like based on what I see and et cetera, I invite them in.
Yep.
But with Mao, there was an exception because it kind of I co-host the show called Monster School with Mama, and Mama's an artist herself. She like paints. It's ingenious what she does, and we had a discussion about how with Twitch, one of the Achilles heels that we have with it is if you ever go to the art section, the most talented people have the least amount of views, and
Yeah.
it's a bit, it hurts, but at the end of the day, we don't own Twitch, et cetera,
No.
and it just
No.
sucks that the person on the curb of the street playing "Kiss from a Rose" by Seal, it's like that sounds amazing, is the one that's overshadowed. But
Yeah. Yeah.
it just so happened like we ended a stream, and I just was looking around on Twitch. I was just doing that empty, scroll thing, and I saw
Mhm.
you doing a body paint. I forget which one it was, but I was like, damn, that's really good. And I went in, and the way you kind of like carried yourself, I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting. That's cool. So I sit back and I did like, I'm the type that kind of tends to lurk because I want to kind of understand a person before I just go in and be like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? And then, like
Yeah.
off
Yeah.
the
That's
bat.
fair.
But your creativity like transcended. It was insane because like went into your because at first I was like, okay, this is maybe somebody did this to her. Maybe she's not really doing. I don't know. Like my mind started doing that anxiety route where it was like, maybe this isn't her. And then I hit your Instagram, and I was like, holy crap! Okay, this is her.
Yeah.
Like she does
Yeah.
know what
That's
she's
what I
doing.
do. Yep.
But like from I have a whole layout here, but like from the Attack on Titan giant and the White Knight, not the White Knight, the Game of Thrones. I know this.
You got it. You know it.
I know it. Oh my gosh, my friend would kill me right now. The White Walker King, the King Walker.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
cool. Then you
Yes.
got the great, like, yeah, they're all fantastic. Like the one that blew my mind was the Sphere. I never played the game, so don't beat me up.
That's fine.
The dragon game that's purple. N64. You tell me.
Oh,
Spyro.
Spyro.
Yes.
Spyro. Oh.
Yes.
Yes.
I was like, that's so cool.
Yes.
I just the thing about people that are creative, like I know a lot of creative people in terms of like there's a chef out there, her name's Nicole. She
Mhm.
doesn't
Mhm.
have a cookbook, she doesn't have Michelin stars, but what she does is next level. And it's
Yeah.
just cool because Twitch kind of brings all these people together, including yourself, where it's like
Mhm.
it's next level and yet we're right here together, which is kind of cool
Yeah.
because it's like that threshold because we always have conversations with each other where what if one person becomes we know how do you say it? It's cool that we get to know each other as it is
Yeah.
now. That's what's
Yeah.
cool
Yeah.
about it because you get to just speak with these
Mhm.
individuals.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so tell us what made you want to get into body painting. Has it always been there, or did something like transcend it?
Well, it's actually a really weird story for me because I have always been an artist, always.
Hmm.
But I was actually asked to do face painting for children,
Right.
and it was random. I actually worked at Home Depot, and they had a body painter or a face painter, sorry, hired to do this for children professionally, and they didn't show up. And they knew I liked to sketch and draw, and they're like, "Oh, can
Right.
you just do it?" And I'm like, "Sure, I can do it." And when I started doing it, I realized how fun it was to make those easy designs, and I'm like, I wonder if I could take it to the next level. I didn't know it was a thing. I had no idea people did it. I didn't even think about Hollywood and special effects. I was just like, oh, and just started doing it in my free time. And that's really it.
That's really so.
That's
What?
really it.
So it started. You say like in your young adulthood.
I yeah, I was like 22, I think.
22.
Something like that.
So it
Yeah.
basically started
So
with the face painting. You're like, I wonder where I could go with this.
yeah. So it started off as like those basic fair designs and then turned into me being like, huh, I wonder if I can make it look like I'm actually this thing, and
Right.
yeah, like the illusion. I'm more of an illusion. I don't use a lot of prosthetics, but sometimes I do. So it just depends.
Now, do you ever feel like what's the word? So I have a friend that like she's pretty good. She's getting there with
Hmm.
body painting. Like she'll wear the pasties, right?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Do you feel cheated if because when she paints over them, obviously you can see the circles, right? Or like when you
Yeah,
put like this
yeah,
here, you can see this. Do you
yeah.
feel cheating if you edit it out in post, or do you want to try to do it practically and try to blend it so you don't see the seams? Because that's always the
Uh,
double-edged sword where
yeah,
it's like some
that's
people
true.
that
That's
create,
true.
they're like, oh, I'll just do it in post, and they make the eyes
Yeah,
disappear, and
yeah,
at that point you're kind of, I don't know, some people don't see it as a whole body paint, they see it
yeah.
as like
That
a
makes sense.
half. What do you do? Do you do a little bit of stuff in post,
I
or do you
do
try to
both.
keep it
I do
as in
both.
real?
Like, so most of the time I try and keep it as real as possible, but there are things like, so if it is the eyes in particular, contacts aren't cheap, and so I understand that for a lot of people doing it in post is more of a like a financial thing more than it is creative. It's like I can't afford to buy 20 different color contacts, so in post I can make it look like that, you know. But as far as like blending the whole like you were saying the
Hmm.
covers, um again, I tried my best to like blend it away so I don't have to edit it, but that's more again like if you have to edit it, I don't think there's anything wrong with that personally.
Right.
But, you know, it's all for the artist, like whatever works best for the artist.
Gotcha. So
Yeah.
I had something fun. So you're gonna do paint for us, right?
Yeah, a little one cuz obviously
Yeah, I
not
know.
a lot of time, but
Don't go crazy.
yeah.
But if you want to
Yeah.
start doing a little paint, I'm gonna ask you
Okay.
questions about some of the photos that you've done.
Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, go for it.
So first,
Mhm.
I didn't want to. I wanted to end with that one. Actually, you know what?
You're like,
Now
"Wait."
that I showed it, I might as well do it. So this is a pretty cool character from Moana, Taka.
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah.
What? Yeah, I love how you brush it off as if it's nothing, but it's clearly amazing. You're like,
I'm
oh
like,
yeah,
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 yeah.
Taka. Okay. How do you like? Because I can't see the problem. The amazing thing is, and the problem is, I can't see the seams. Like you know, I can't. It looks like a lava monster, like trying to breathe lava,
Uh,
and it's clear. Like
the Well, what's funny about that is like I see the seams. So
you
I'm like,
do.
what are you talking about? Yeah, and I think it's maybe because I know where they are. I can see my nose, my lips, my eyes. I can see all of it. I can even see like my collarbones, which I
Did
always
you
hate.
paint the reflective surface, the white tones in
Mhm.
there? That's so cool.
Yeah,
That's so
yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah,
Those-
so that's funny. That's funny that you say
I
that.
don't
Oh,
see it.
that's
All the
weird.
photos I chose, I don't see any seams.
And yeah, so none of that was like I like you can even to me I can see I'm like my second monitor is over here, but
Yeah.
I can see the my eyelashes and that always bothers me. I'm like, dang it, you can see my
What?
eyelashes.
Hold on, let me bring it up. I know there's a delay on your end. I don't see them. I mean, if I squint, I see your eyes, but I really don't see like what you're seeing.
Cool though, that's good to
Yeah,
know.
that's good.
That means I'm
Yeah.
doing it right.
Yay,
That's
OCD.
funny,
All
right?
right. So, what are you going to be painting on your chest? So, as you paint,
Um,
I'll go through the photos. So, it's like killing two birds.
right. I'm gonna do just a rocket ship. As weird as that sounds, I thought it'd look cool to have like a rocket ship and then like space coming out of it. I did a look similar
Yeah.
to this once before, but it was on my hand. It's
Gotcha.
gonna be on my chest this time. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Because
So,
I had to
if
try and keep it a little more simple. So
yeah, it's fine. Do you feel like when you do it, and you can obviously go when I'm talking, it's fine.
mhm. Okay,
Um,
yeah.
how do you how do you freestyle basically? Because a lot
You
of people
mean
start with traces, but you seem to be just like go right into it, like the
well?
mind's eye.
I start with like tracing. You mean like stencil tracing? Because I always sketch it out, and so
Right,
kind of
but
like any like an artist.
got
What?
you. But you don't stress out like you didn't sketch out to cop. Like it's in front of
Oh
you, but it's
no.
not on your body. So you're doing this mirror effect where you have to look and
Oh
trust what you're doing.
yeah, yeah. So I don't ever plan mine out, which is probably a flaw. Like I don't ever sit there and like sketch out how I should do it. I just have like the idea of what I want to do, and I just go for
Right.
it. Sorry, my dryer just went off. If you
No,
could
it's
hear
fine.
that. So yeah, it's just a matter of in my head, I guess. So I'm like, okay, this
Gotcha.
is the idea I have, and then that's it.
Now, are you doing it in reverse while you do it?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
okay. So that's weird. I don't like any of that. So, is
You're
there a
like, what?
mirror in front of you, or are you just
Yeah,
doing it?
I use this like little mirror.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
little
you're
hand mirror.
legit going backwards, and you're
Yep,
freestyling it.
yep, yep,
That's insane. All right, let's look at
yeah.
the next one. So I'll start at the bottom where I wanted to start. Oop, not that. It was it you? Nope. There it is. Oh yeah, the Beauty and the Beast, Belle and
Oh,
the Beast. This is one
oh,
of
that
my
was a
favorite
recent
ones.
one.
This is this is so good. It's like I don't even know what to say or like how to. I don't even know
I
what to say.
I think the funniest thing is like that one I hated. I
Really?
hated how it came out. Yeah, I was like, man, I should have added more detail. I should have made it look cooler. But
It looks
yeah,
so cool to me.
I think the reason why part of me didn't like it is I didn't make my shadows as dark as I normally do because I was trying to keep it softer, give it that like Disney, like
I
pretty
absolutely
look.
don't see anything you're saying. I'm a Disney fanatic. I don't see
I love Disney too.
anything you're saying. In your Discord, I'll
That's good.
post a video of my collection, and you're not going to believe it's mine, but it's 100% mine. Like,
That's
it's
awesome.
stupid how big it is.
I love Disney too. Oh my gosh. I have, well, I mean, my theme ish for like my Twitch is even Alice in Wonderland.
That's awesome.
Funny.
How'd you do the. How'd you make the lips uneven? Like, how'd
Just
you make.
paint.
Oh my god. Yeah, well, I know that. I'm just saying, like.
Just paint. That's funny.
Let's go. It's just weird because it looks like one lip, like it's cut down the middle, and one lip is bigger than the other. So did you paint
Hmm.
one smaller, or did you paint the other one bigger?
I painted the Beast one bigger on the bottom.
Gotcha.
And then it's actually the Beast one is smaller on the top and bigger on the bottom. Whereas her side's just my lips.
Gotcha.
Because she has a similar face shape, which helps.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, cool. That was nice.
All right. Next we have Borderlands.
Oh,
I've
yeah, that
never
one was fun.
played this game. I know the
Hmm.
image, but it's all body paint. You're not wearing a glove?
Nope, not wearing a glove.
That's
Nope.
awesome.
Yep.
No, I like this one. It's very clean. How'd
That
you
one was
do
fun.
how'd you do your eyes? Are you closing your eyes and just
Yeah.
guessing?
Yep. Yeah, closing my eyes. Yeah, I close one at a time and then I'll
Oh my gosh.
paint them
So you're looking at in a mirror reversed in one eye.
backwards.
Well, oh my gosh, no.
Yep. Yep, that's what I
Oh,
do.
that's fantastic.
It's yeah, it's sometimes it gets a little hard. I think the hardest part actually about painting one eye over the other is actually when I am streaming, trying to read chat with one eye while I'm
Yeah,
painting.
you're just like
I'm
doing the
like,
Cyclops thing.
yeah, yep. I'm like, oh my gosh, how do I even talk?
So this
It's
was my
funny.
favorite game in I want to say high school, like maybe 10 years back. But
Oh
this is
yeah,
from Alice Returns, correct? The
yep,
Cheshire Cat?
yep, yep. It was a good one.
Yeah, why'd you want to do this one?
I just love, well, for one, I love Alice in Wonderland, but I
Hmm.
love that game like so much, and I did it a long time ago when that game was new.
Hmm.
And so I wanted to redo it. So that was my remake of it. And he's also really creepy looking, which I like.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Talk
he's
about a
cool.
fantastic game, though. I like the
Oh yeah,
psychology
it's
of it
so
because
good.
obviously everyone's grown up with the Disney one, but it's like
Hmm.
if in the Disney one, her world is chaotic because that woman at the beginning is teaching her, she doesn't understand
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
So obviously her Wonderland, aka her mind, is going
Hmm.
to be a bit chaos because that reflects her life. And
Yes,
then somebody comes along, I don't know who made the game, but they're just like, I think it was Alice McGee's, but they were like,
it was. Yeah,
what if she's put in a mental asylum and all her parents are burned, what's going to happen to
yeah,
her Wonderland? And you're like, she's going to
yeah.
be fucked up.
Oh yeah,
And
oh
then
yeah.
they go in her mind, and you're like, okay, I see what they're doing.
Yep. It's really well made. Like the whole game. I like that there was a million things you could do too.
Yeah.
Like to find and everything. Yeah.
I like the, it's very Saw esque, but the table saw at the Mad Hat dinner table with the
Oh,
Mad
but
Hatter.
yep.
And I was
Hmm.
like, that's
Yeah.
interesting. Next
Yeah, it was really.
is Darth Maul. So this is my favorite Star Wars character of all time.
Oh yeah.
How did you feel about this one?
I actually that one was really fun. That was one of the times when I did make I made those horns to go on it. Normally I do illusion,
I
so
was
I
gonna
don't
say
normally
I
use.
didn't think you could paint like out, like
Yeah, yeah, no, no. But I did use it, and so they are fun to make and do. But I normally make my own so that it
Mhm.
fits my like. Because if you buy them online, like it's one size fits all kind of thing. So it's
Right.
like to make your own is nicer. And I made my horns bigger than Darth Maul's are obviously. So yeah, that one was really fun. I did like how that one turned out.
Yeah, they
Good.
all look so clean, like the line work. That's what's baffling me because I'm the guy that like no matter what movie you take me to, even if it's a perfect 10, I'm always anal about something. Like I always try to pick something apart, but when I look at your stuff, it's like it's so hard to find that little detail. The fact that you're catching it, like, and I'm not, it's just like weird.
Yeah, I'm always like nitpicking something. I'm like, oh, I could have done this and I could have done that. Like, that one wasn't too bad, but I know that like the red was a little blotchy and that bothered me. I was like, why is it so blotchy on me? And I was like trying to blend it and it wouldn't blend. I'm like, oh, God
Yeah,
dang it.
it looks pretty clean. The only thing I see in it, if you don't mind me saying,
No, I
it's
don't, not at all.
in between the two horns on the forehead. It I can kind of tell it's white paint and not reflection, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah, it's because it touches my hair, I think, is what doesn't help.
Yeah, still awesome.
Which is another thing. I normally don't use bald caps, and I probably should. It
Yeah.
would help.
Well, how are you thinking about incorporating like FX makeup more?
Probably, yeah, yeah. It's a big thing is finding the time to make prosthetics or things like that, or again, purchasing them. And it's always one of those things where you're like, should I purchase it or should I? And that's why
Right.
I do a lot of illusion because I'm like, well, I can always just fake it, like fake it till you make it, right?
True. True. 100%. This one is one that, no lie, I will legit pay money. Okay, I will
Oh,
buy.
really?
Can you? Can I? Okay. Do you have a Patreon?
I don't know.
Damn it. How do you have any website where people could purchase like 8x11s and all that?
The only thing I have is a Redbubble shop, but I don't have any of my body paints on it.
What?
I have one, I think. I
Why?
have one. I don't know.
What are you selling on the Redbubble?
It's just like other artwork I've done like digitally.
Okay.
I should put more though. I should put more. I
If
guess I was just afraid nobody would want to buy them, so I'm
so, we
like,
can talk about
okay.
this after. But if I can pick and choose a bunch of prints and it's just
Hmm.
open price, can you send them to me like signed?
Okay, yeah,
Because
yeah.
I don't know if that goes out of your way in terms of printing. I don't know if you have like a photo printer or you got a whatever. I don't even know how that works.
Yeah. Actually, I know a few people, or like not people, but companies that do prints and stuff. So,
Gotcha. All right.
yeah.
All right. But no, this one, where am I going with this? This one's cool. I wish there were more like this because I love the whole landscape aspect. Where it's
That's
like your eye is
funny.
drawn to so many things because it's like obviously the focal point's the tree, which
Yeah,
accentuates the face. But you can
yeah,
look in the far background and you see that grave and you see the birds in there. And
yeah,
it's like
yeah,
this is all. It's so cool because you're showing depth of field on already contoured body because
yeah,
right here, I
yeah.
don't know what this area is called. It's called the what's it called? Where the bone is right here.
The collarbone area, the
Yeah, like that sunken in area.
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
making it look almost 3D, and it's just so interesting to me how you're like managing to do this depth of field thing.
It's funny though, because again, you picked one where I
Oh my
hated how it
gosh,
turned
shut
out. I
up.
hated it. Like,
As you started talking, I'm like, she's going to say something to piss me off right now.
oh
Dude,
no,
I
it's just
literally
so
showed my
funny.
friends this. I went to work and I
Oh,
was like, I
really?
showed them and I'm like, look at this. And he's like, that's insane. And I was like, right?
I mean, that's so great to hear because it's one of those things where one of my friends actually asked me to make it and they gave me the idea and I was like, okay, I'll do it. And as I was doing it, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm failing. I'm doing so bad. I'm so sorry. And they're like, no, I love it. And I was like, no, it's so bad. And then, yeah, I don't know why, but I
I
guess
don't.
because
What do you
I
see
saw it,
that I'm not seeing? Like, put me
I
in your
don't
mind
know.
for some reason because I can't see. Because I think I told you this in chat and you couldn't relate to me at all. But like, I do editing and I do script writing. When I
Hmm.
edit photos or edit videos or things like
Yeah,
that, the
yeah,
thing that's Achilles heel for me is I could be on a project for hours doing cuts, trims, effects, all this stuff.
yeah, yeah,
The fonts are always the Achilles heel for me. Like
yeah.
Arial font versus this font. Like I just can't nail it. Like just to do all this, like on the screen where I put all your
Hmm.
imagery around me and everything and the
Yeah, yeah,
influencer
yeah, yeah,
spotlight, the
yeah.
Miss Mao Mouse was the hardest part of the entire thing because I'm a stickler for font and font size. But nobody
Yeah,
sees that. No,
yeah,
they're just like,
that's
why don't you
fair.
just put a text in? So what am I not seeing in terms of you when it comes to this piece here? Like, where do you see a flaw? Because I can't see that flaw.
It was the tree. Like, whenever I look at the tree, I'm like, for some reason, I don't know what I was wanting, but when I look at it, I'm like, it could have been better. Like, it could have looked more real, not realistic. I guess that's not what I was going for, but like, it just looked like the transition from my chest to my face. I don't like it. Like, I feel like I could have done it better, I guess, is what's the problem. Like, the
Uh,
graveyard's fine,
I
but
guess. Are you saying
I don't
because you
know.
can see the outline almost of your chin, it's not a
Yeah,
connection
yeah,
between the
like
two, and you
that.
wanted it to blend perfectly?
Well, it's one of those things too where I guess you were talking about like seeing a seam. Like I can't make the shadow of my chin go away. Like that's not gonna
Right.
happen. But I see it and I'm like, oh, why is it there? Like make it go away because then it doesn't look.
Because I
It's
didn't,
almost
to be honest, I didn't see it as. I get what you're saying,
yeah.
but I thought you meant it to be that way where it's almost disconnected. I liked it that way because it almost looks like the
There you
head
go.
is a piece in itself and the
There you
chest is a
go.
completely separate piece. Like,
I didn't really think of it that way, I guess, but I was just like, no, it doesn't
yeah.
look good.
All right, what do we
Which oh,
got
it's so funny.
next? This thing,
Let's see
okay.
which other one I
So
hate.
this one, I have two guesses what this is, and I'm pretty sure I know
Oh,
what it is because I didn't see the caption.
okay.
It's not Snow Miser, correct?
No. No.
But it's the Hatbox Ghost from the Haunted Mansion.
Yes.
Yes, I knew it.
Yes.
Okay, those are my two things because he had that but like look
Yep.
about him from your Year
Yep.
Without Santa Claus. So tell me about first. Tell me the inspiration as to why doing this because does he necessarily look like this?
He does kind of the head. So like on my shoulders, he only has like a giant cape or like cloak, and
Yep.
so that was kind of just like as best as I could with the given colors. Also, because he's more of like a green color over a blue color. He's like teal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he does look like that. He's just like partial ghost. I don't know why he had a gold tooth. I didn't know that until I was looking at reference photos. I'm like, oh, he has a gold
I have
tooth.
no idea who.
Yeah, I had no clue, and I love the Hatbox Ghost. I love Haunted Mansion. That's why I wanted to do it. Actually, one of the looks I'm going to do soon is going to be Madame Leota from the Mansion. So
That's gonna be fun. That's gonna be a cool
yeah,
little illusion because you know you're gonna make it so it's like the head's kind of floating
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
that's gonna be interesting. Ironically enough, uh, so I'm gonna tell. I'll tell you my Disney story as because I'm going way too fast with these photos. Um, my camera's out of focus. Hold on 1 second.
Your camera's like no.
Yeah, she's like, no, you don't tell that story again.
Okay.
There we go. All right, and I will after straight. I'll DM you all the photos of my room and all that. You're gonna like, it's fantastic.
That's
Um,
awesome.
when I was young, my parents said like, we're gonna take you to Disney World when you're 5 years old, and I was like, oh, sweet, fantastic. So I
Yeah,
look forward to it. But then they're like, we can't do it until you're 9 because you have a brother now and he needs to be of age. And I'm like, fine.
there you go.
So I
Yeah, yeah.
waited another 4 years. They said when you're all 13 and your teenagers will go. So
Oh gosh.
I waited again. And then finally, they were like, at age 19, we'll go. And then age 19 comes along, and I have 4 other siblings, and they're just like, we can't do it, unfortunately. And obviously, I was heartbroken.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I decided from that point on, for the next 10 years, I was going to save so much money and plan the biggest trip to Disney in the course of a week I could take. So I
It's
raised
awesome.
close to like $10,000 and I made
Oh
it
my
so
gosh.
I made it so I stayed at a value resort. So no
Oh
matter
my
what I
gosh.
did, I wouldn't have to worry about anything financial. It's just pure Disney fun.
Yeah, yeah.
That
That's
being
awesome.
said, the story kind of leads into it, kind of doesn't. I hated the Haunted Mansion.
Oh, really?
So
Oh,
I
really?
went when I was like 27. The reason I hate it, and I'm obviously, you look around me, you see Freddy Krueger stuff. I'm a huge horror
Yeah, yeah,
fanatic.
yeah.
That thing scares me. Like something
Really?
about that ride. I got on the ride.
Oh,
I
wow.
I was hyped too. You don't understand. Like I got off Tower Terror. I rode Tower Terror like 3 times. I love the aesthetic. And then I see the Haunted Mansion. I'm like, oh, cool. It's like a Haunted Mansion. I get it. Whatever.
Like, it's gonna be
So
great, yeah.
I get in line. There's these creepy, what are they called? Like bellhoppers, and they're just like, "Hey,
Mhm, mhm.
welcome, dead, whatever." And I'm just like, "Ah, cool, you're in character. That's awesome." And then I
Yeah.
get on the ride, I sit down, and the ride starts moving. I'm like, Haunted Mansion, man, first time, this is gonna be awesome. I'm 27 years old, and this thing starts pushing forward. I'm like, all right, cool. There's this bride that's standing there. I'm like, oh, cool, a bride. I guess she's like a ghost bride. She's like,
Yeah.
welcome.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, cool, cool. And then she pulls out this axe
Yeah.
in front of her, and she's like, and he never made like this dark thing. I'm like, whoa, that's kind of dark. And then from then on, it was
It
like a
is.
roller coaster from hell, like House of a Thousand Corpses, when Dr. Satan's like pushing him down the trolley cart, and he's like, you
Oh
want to
my
see Dr.
gosh.
Satan? I hated it, the whole thing. And then
So
at the end, they end
funny.
it with a jolly tune, which I appreciated, where they're all like singing in a
Yep.
graveyard or
Yep.
whatever, and your
Yep.
twist is you're the new ghost because you're dead. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep.
no. Long story short, like, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of that. That ride.
That's so funny. I freaking love the Haunted Mansion. It's one of my favorites. As a kid, I went as a kid, and
Yeah.
honestly, when at the end, it's like, oh, you're gonna take a ghost home with you. I honestly thought that I was, and so I asked my mom. I was like, oh, is a ghost gonna come? She's like, oh, don't worry, sweetie. I'm like, wait, no. Like I was upset.
Oh wow, it was
Like, why is
complete
the ghost
opposite.
gonna
I'd be like, we gotta call an exorcist. We gotta call.
Yeah, that was what my brother did. My brother was upset, but I want the ghost
No,
though.
I want the
Like,
ghost. I want the bride with the axe that
I
killed
know,
her husband.
right? I know. Mom's like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I want the ghost. That's so funny.
Oh my goodness. But yeah, no. Disney and horror, ironically, are my two biggest loves in life. Like the two of them are the reason I want to get into filmmaking. They're
That's so funny. That's cool. That's cool though.
well,
I love Disney.
the correlation I think started with Sleepy Hollow. No, that's not the proper title. It's Mr. Toad's something where it had Sleepy Hollow, Ichabod Crane, and it was like a cartoon
Okay.
short.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was my lead, I believe, into horror.
Oh,
From
really?
that
Wow.
was my transition. From after that, I saw Gremlins. After Gremlins, I saw Halloween. After Halloween, it just took off from
And
there.
then just kept going from there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's awesome. Yeah.
yeah.
I
But
do a
long
lot
story
of
short,
horror looks.
do not like Haunted Mansion. This one I have heavy questions about,
Okay.
and it's gonna sound a little bit sus, but I guarantee you it's not.
Okay, there we go.
This is Milana,
Melina.
Melina.
Yes, 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 yes.
So this is gonna sound really weird, but obviously, so your breasts are pushed together, correct?
Mm-hmm. Well, kind of, yeah.
Did you paint it with that position to create it contouring in, or did you paint it like this and you're squishing the entire painting together? I don't know if you see
I
what I
just,
see, but it's weird because you're not to sound sus again, but your cartoons, your boobs look like cartoons, like
well, that's
cartoonized.
because I literally painted them to look cartoonish. So,
But did you
like,
had to have painted it in that position though to
no, I
create that
painted it just
effect?
normal. I just had normal, knowing that I would probably be covering because honestly, when I painted that one first, that was my first full body one. I didn't have the nipple covers, so I
Right.
knew that I would be hiding it because obviously I didn't have nipple covers. So,
I'll say this because
um,
this will explain it better. When you take a how do I do it? So, say you're completely standing still like this with your arms by your side, right? And you were to paint this, you'd have to paint it overly enlarged because you know when you squeeze together, it'll shrink to create the natural effect. Or is that not a thing?
I don't
Please let me know you know what I'm
know.
saying. So
I
if you look at it, right?
Yeah,
When you
yeah,
squish something together,
yes,
it looks like it looks. If you were to okay, look at the image, right?
yes. Looking.
Cre- Imagine you just relaxed your arms by your side.
Mm-hmm.
Would it not stretch out everything because it's pushed together? That's what I'm wondering. Like when you were painting it, wouldn't you have painted it stretched out so that when you pushed it together, it would align properly?
I'm not really putting too much pressure there though, so that's so no, because I'm
Okay.
mostly in front, if that makes sense. But it probably just looks like I'm because I added a lot of fake.
We
A
don't have
lot
to
of
get
it's
too into it
fake.
because, to be honest,
Yep.
there's a lot of illusion paintings online that I think about way too much and I just get a migraine. It looks good.
Right. I'm like, pretty much the main story of it. A lot of that is just fake.
Is she your
It's
favorite
just fake.
character, though, in Mortal Kombat?
No, she was just one that people like to ask me to paint a lot. So I was like, okay,
Nice.
why not?
Do you play any video games?
Yes, yes, I play a lot. I
What
play a lot of games. I don't really play Mortal Kombat though, to be honest.
Have you ever played Kingdom Hearts?
I haven't, but I've always wanted to.
It
Why haven't
is
I? I have no
the
idea.
biggest tearjerker known to man.
Is
I'll
it?
say that.
Oh
Oh
my
my gosh,
gosh.
there's moments in there where I'll say this just because I know by the time you get to this part, you're gonna forget everything I said here.
That's fine.
There's a moment where it's implied that Goofy dies.
Oh,
And it's one of those
that's
shocking
horrible.
moments because Donald and Mickey are there. And based on, like, previous cartoons that you've seen, they're always together. And because of Disney, they're always so happy go lucky. And they hit you full fledged when he dies because you get to see Donald and Mickey react to his death in real life.
Oh
And Donald
god.
becomes infuriated because one of the creatures, they're called Heartless, ends up like killing him. That's the thing. So Donald runs into the distance into an army
Oh
of,
my
like a
gosh.
million Heartless by himself because his friend just died. And the most powerful moment in this game is they pan the camera back, focusing on Goofy, and they
Mm-hmm.
go through Mickey's hand, and you look at Mickey's hand, and it's trembling, and all you hear him say
Oh,
under his voice
oh,
is, "They're gonna pay for this," and it's so powerful
oh
because
my
they're
god, that gave me goosebumps.
right, and like he whips out his sword and he lunges into it with Donald, and it's one of those moments where it's like the game works so well because if you're a Disney fan, they don't only cater
Mhm.
to your Disney aspect, but they elevate it to be a bit more adult. So it hits those adult
Yeah.
tones. Because there's characters in it that flat out like get depressed in this, but it works the way they like maneuver it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's insane.
What else are we? Ooh, is that the one that like literally made me smile so for? Yeah, it is. So this
Oh.
this one made me smile because let me try to see if I can see it. It's Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers,
Mhm.
and Chucky.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it is. All of those. That
It
one was
was.
really fun.
It seems like it was really fun.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
cool
Yep. Yep.
too because you could take the lazy way out when you're doing the splits and the seams and everything, but you actually
Mhm.
add that shadow to distinguish
Oh
where it's
yeah.
like if you cover it up with your hands, certain parts,
Yep.
it
Yep.
looks like it's meant to look like if you're if you know what I'm saying, where it's like the full character. So it's
Yeah.
like if I go
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that, it looks like Chucky. If I go like that, it looks like Freddy. If I go like that, Jason. It's like
That one
it's
was so fun to do. And I don't even know like exactly why I decided to do that. I literally went on Instagram and I was like, okay, everybody tell me your favorite horror monster. 'Cause it's near Halloween. So I'm like,
yeah.
tell me your favorite like horror monsters. And those were the top four. And I'm like, all right. And
All
then the
right.
next day I
Yeah.
just painted them. I just did it. I was like, okay, here we go.
That's
Oh,
fantastic.
it was
No, I
fun.
I love that one because again, like I'm when I say I love horror, but my favorite genre of all time will always be slashers.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
So this totally works. What's next? This one was freaking clean. I love if you see a flaw in this one, you're psychotic.
I don't think I do. I
Sweet.
know it
Just leave it
turned
at
out.
that. Leave it at that. Leave
Yeah,
it at that.
sounds like I did. I was like, I don't see one. It did turn out way differently because actually in my chat when I was streaming, people were just giving me ideas, like because I didn't know. I just knew I wanted to do a pumpkin because it was again near Halloween, and
Mhm.
so they're like, oh, why don't you add like vines coming out? And then one of my friends is like, why don't you just add blood? And I'm like, what if the veins were coming out and causing the blood? And so I just kept going. It was
That's
fun
awesome.
though. I like freestyling like that. Just what's happening. Let's make it
So
happen.
is this all self-taught?
Yeah, yeah.
Really?
All stuff.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
It's awesome and it's not awesome. The reason why I'll say it's awesome is because clearly it's self-taught.
yeah.
The not awesome part is it's a lot like me when I was going to go to film school, but film school
Hmm.
costs like $50,000 if
Yeah,
you're going to be in
yeah,
Florida, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah.
So I read and I taught myself everything. I read all the textbook. Like I don't know why people didn't think of it at the time. Just read the textbooks from your like I don't know, but the idea
Right.
is everything I do is self-taught. Everything you do is self-taught, and it's like you don't have to go to college. it's like
No, no, you don't. You
it's
don't.
like
No.
there's
And
a huge stigma around it, but like I think it's
mhm.
in the day and age where people are realizing it's like you really don't need college.
No. Well, and the thing is, too, to me, when it's self-taught, and I didn't know this until like later, but I'm like, if it's self-taught, that means you find your own look
Way.
and your own way of things. Yeah, and so then you're not relying or copying somebody unintentionally because you're just doing what you
Right.
can do, what you've taught yourself,
It's like
and
I
so
don't
like a
need to
lot of
hear a
people,
teacher tell me about her opinion on Silence of the Lambs. I
yeah.
already have my own.
You're like, "I already know." Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, a lot of people when they do find me, they tend to say, "I've seen body painters, but I've never seen somebody do that," kinda like the 4 monster smashed up,
Mm,
like, "What made you do it?" And I'm like, "I don't know, because I've only ever known to just start doing stuff." Like,
right.
I'm like, "I just did it." Instead of, like, planning it out and mapping it out, which is totally fine, and some people do it, but, like, I'm literally just a wing it kinda person. I'm like, "I'm just gonna start painting and see where it goes."
That's awesome.
Like, I don't know. It could turn out horrible, but then I'll just try again some other time.
It's so interesting how that works. It's so interesting how like the mind, because like I don't know. I don't want to go too into it, but
Right.
it's just interesting because I feel self teaching yourself for anything is more important than somebody teaching it to you. Obviously, the
Yeah.
fundamentals of like going to high school, things like that, is like
Mhm.
there's a necessity there. I don't see it in terms of learning. I see it in terms of like character building and rapport with other people. I think rapport is
Yeah,
more
yeah,
important than anything else. But I
yeah,
believe
that's
everything can
fair.
be self taught. With me, it's like I just go through books. I went through books after book after books, and I learned where the
Yep.
dolly was, the tripod was, and it's like at the end of the day, I was like one of my friends. He went off to college, and he went to that college I wanted to go to. It was called Full Sail University,
Mhm.
and he graduated and he worked on a film as this. But it's like the same knowledge is there. It's like
Yep,
it's just
yep, yeah.
interesting. Why not use that money to sponsor your own creative thing?
Mhm. Yeah, that's fair. That's definitely fair.
All right. Next we have this one. Okay. So I'm gonna be sending you like a lot of things I want to have printed, and I'm gonna pay like whatever. But this is the one I definitely want signed over all the other
Okay.
ones. The other one's just printed, but this one needs to be signed. Make it out to John. Nobody's in chat right now, so that's my real name, John. But no, this one blows my mind. I was staring at this for like it had to be like 5 minutes because I couldn't see. I thought they were like it looks like exactly what you're putting out. That's what I'm believing it is. Like puzzle
So,
pieces on your body. Puzzle pieces are a way like showcasing an artistic universe.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
the thing is, did you add? See, this is mind-boggling to me. Sorry if I'm geeking out because I geek out
No,
really
you're
easily. By
fine.
the way, did you add reflection to your skin for each puzzle for certain puzzle pieces?
Yeah, yeah, I added a highlight to every single piece, yeah.
And did
Yeah.
you add shade to the side of your nose? Is that
Mhm. Yeah. I added I added all the shadow and the highlight, yeah.
that's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, that one was fun. I again was one of the ones where I was like, I don't know if I like this one, but later I did look at it and I'm like, no, it's better than I thought it was. I think it was just I was afraid it didn't look like puzzle pieces, but I don't
It
know.
looks
Maybe
good
it's
to
just
me.
in the
It legit looks good to me. I love it. All right, let's see what we got next. We got this one tripped me out. This is Sea of Thieves, correct?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Mhm.
thought you just did the skull part, and for some reason, I thought you. I didn't know that was a body paint. I thought that legit was a poster or something you were holding up in front, like you got ran out of time or something, so you just put a random like something. That's cool because that ship looks like the ship from Peter Pan too, which I dig.
It kind of does, yeah.
Right? um,
Yeah, no, that was I wanted to do something Sea of Thieves-esque, but I had done a acrylic painting, which is
mhm.
on my wall, but I don't think you can see it somewhere up there. But
Okay, I'll try to
I had
find
done
it.
an acrylic painting. I think it's hold on, wait, let me see, let me see. Oh, it's right there, kind of right that the I
Hold
don't
on.
how do I point at it? That one.
Oh
Can
yeah,
you
I
kind of
see it.
see?
I see it.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, I should do something like that, and I don't know why it turned out like that, but
Well, you recently did. Do you like this one better than your Megalodon one that you just not Megalodon, Kraken one you just recently did?
I like the one. Yeah, I like that one better. Definitely like it better than the Kraken.
Yeah, I like this. I always love I love detailed work, obviously, but I like how it's simplistic. Like it's very clean. I don't know if you agree with me, where it's like the one with the graveyard, the orange one with the tree in the
Oh,
face.
yeah, yeah.
To me, I consider that just to be clean, where it's like
Oh,
not hyper detailed, but it's just the contrast and the
yeah, yeah,
reflections and
yeah.
things like
Yeah,
that.
that makes sense. I know I tend to be a bit of a perfectionist, and I'll like, oh God, kind of like the Chucky shirt. I did just Chucky,
Hmm.
not even that long ago. And the Chucky shirt, the stripes, I took forever on because I'm a perfectionist. And so I'm like I didn't want to do like the cheater way and like make the stripes bigger than they really were. I wanted them to be
Right.
small, but it took forever because I'm like trying to make them perfectly straight. I mean, I also had to incorporate the fact that it is a body, like a doll, so it wasn't going to be perfectly straight, but I didn't want them to be like wiggle, and oh, it took forever because
Do
I'm
you,
like, okay,
actually, I'll say it for after this. Do you know the one thing I'd want like to see like a little different on this, just to be a total critic?
yes.
The skull that's in front of the ship. I just wish that was the red captain skull.
Oh yeah, back then that didn't exist. That
Oh,
wasn't
well
a
then
thing back
win-win.
then. Yeah, yeah, I was like, that was not a thing back then. Because it was just the green one.
So to break a fourth wall here. So I have OCD. You don't have to disclose if you do or either. But with this game, regardless if you have it or not, well, people have to have it. Do you find yourself getting a bit stuck sometimes with details where it's like it becomes more headache inducing the more you stick with it, trying to make it
Yeah,
seem so perfect that you lose track of
yeah,
like, oh, I still have 2 hours of work to do and I'm focusing on this, and you just become aggravated?
yeah, a lot, a lot.
Have it
So
has it ever built to the
I
point where you quit?
I've never technically, I don't think I've ever quit one, but I have like been doing a live stream and
Hmm.
stopped the live stream and just finished it offline because I could tell I was getting irritated with myself. I'm like, you know what? I'll just do this off stream and we'll see how it turns out. Actually, the Kraken one that I recently did, I stopped streaming that one and I just did the rest off stream because I was getting too involved with the Kraken that I was getting upset and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want people to think that I don't know, being over dramatic.
I don't think it's over dramatic. It's just like, it's that double edged sword of just having a gift. What's the word? It's you have the gift, but it's also a crutch. It's oh my gosh, it's such a good phrase. I forget. Um, what was I gonna say? We were talking about Sea of Thieves. Oh no, no, no. So you're fresh. You've always completed your art though. You've never once
Yeah,
been like, you know what, screw it, and just like wiped it off.
there actually one time I wiped it off, but just so I could restart, and it was
Okay,
actually
well
my
that doesn't
first
get.
Attack on Titan. Yeah, like
Yeah.
that's the only time I've done that. Like I had started it out, and the base color I put for it, it was like it's just not the right color, and I could not fix it. So I was like, you know what? I know I've already spent 4 hours on this, but I wiped it off and spent another 8 hours on it.
Right.
I was like literally wiped it off and then did it again. It
Well,
took me forever.
kudos to you because I can't tell you how many projects I've just stopped out of aggravation. I don't know how to like get out of that aggravation realm where it's like maybe you could have a good advice, but it's like when I'm editing or something and I become frustrated by like
Yeah,
a single edit, because it's a lot like what you do where it's like you're focusing on a line, I'm focusing on a clip where the
yeah,
mouths are moving
yeah,
at a certain distance, and I get
yeah,
so hung up on it I realize how much I have left, and I'm like, I get that thought of what if the rest of this is going to be like
yeah,
this, and
yeah,
that's
yeah.
where I quit, and I never can get through that threshold, that wall of
I can
moving on.
understand that. I can understand that though.
But how do you do it? You got to help
Um,
me here.
I don't know. I think it's just I have like okay. Honestly, I'm just very stubborn and I don't want to admit that I've failed at something. So that's why I just get over it by being like, if I don't finish this, what like for example, the tree one that you like, I wanted to give up on that one. I hated it, but the fact that I
Right.
finished it and posted it anyways and showed people it, a lot of people loved it, including you. So it's like I would have never known that if I didn't just push through and get it done, you know?
That's a good point. That's an excellent point, because I do game shows and I did a Halloween game show which I was very proud of, but it didn't
Mm-hmm.
get a lot of pushback. And then I did this Christmas show which I thought was god awful. God awful. Like I thought the streamers hated me. I had like seven
Oh
people.
no.
I had seven. It was so hard to do too. It was seven streamers, five different time zones, finding dates that they all can work
Oh
with.
no.
It's all written in a way where they're all going to cooperate in groups. I had a call out. Like all these things I
Oh
thought went
no.
terrible. They
Yeah.
saw it. They loved it more than the Halloween show. So it's like one of those
Really?
perception things, I guess, where it's like, sure, you may hate it, but deep down, it doesn't even matter. Just
Yeah, it's
get it
everybody
done.
has their own opinion, so it's like you never know what other people might think of
Right.
the thing that you hate, and you're like, oh, okay.
I concur. All right, what do we got next? I'm excited. Oh, this is really really fun. This is Sea of Thieves 2, right? This is the diamond skull. What's he called? One of the Scullies, right?
The golden skull. Yeah.
This was cool.
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
you just like what made you pick this? Was the chat again?
No, that one. I was just playing a lot of Sea of Thieves, and sometimes when I'm doing like either playing a lot of a game or if I'm watching something that I just really like, I get inspired to just try and like become something from it. So I was playing it a lot, and I was like, let me try doing a gold skull because I had done one of the plant
Mm-hmm.
ones, and so I was like, let me try the gold one. And the only thing I don't like about that one is that it's bubbly looking, which technically does fit the style of Sea of Thieves, but I'm like, I kind of wish it was a little bit more realistic, you know?
But then it wouldn't be Sea of Thieves.
That's true. That's true. See, so it's like I did the right thing.
You did the right thing. Yeah, see, we're right back at it. I
It's
like
like,
how do you teach yourself to do shading? Because I don't know if you noticed, but do you see where I don't even know how to do this. If I'm here, the picture's there. So see where the white meets the gold on the chest area?
mhm.
How do you know to pay that tiny amount of detail to shading, and then right above it you went completely dark? Like, how do you know when to capture shading?
uh, don't know. I know
I
that
just
like
do it.
I
That's what.
just yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. Well, it's like I know that like while I have taught myself more and more about things, I always tell myself like shadows exist everywhere on everything. There's shadows on everything. So you have to make sure that you're paying attention to like if light is hitting like in that one in particular, I was using a reference photo of course of one of them and the light was going from the front. So a lot of the shadow is going to be very deep like right in the middle.
Hmm.
And then that kind of goes with like highlighting too. You always know like if there's a shadow, there's gonna be a highlight. So you have to like kind of use both to your advantage, you know?
Right.
But like how I know where to put it, I'm not entirely sure.
That
I
that
just
you gotta explain that to me. I'm gonna hold you to it to explain it because the thing is,
right?
you keep saying I know how to do it, but you understand how that's perplexing to me because do you see it? Like, do you just know that like when you shine a flashlight on somebody, it creates those angles and then contours and those shadows, and you see that in your mind's eye, and you just base it
Yeah,
on that?
yeah. So it's kind of like I just imagine where a light would be. So like you said, like a flashlight. If I imagine where the light is, then I know that it's going to be casting the shadow in whatever direction it is,
Hmm.
and then I just kind of like know from there where to place the shadows. I don't know how to describe that more than just I know.
It's just blowing my mind because I have my imagination, like my creativity from my imagination comes from like, no, you know what, no, it's feeling,
Yeah,
because I
yeah,
have a feeling when I edit or do this, I have a feeling when I
yeah.
click a trim or something. So I'm assuming it's the
Hmm.
same with you. That's what you're getting from this, where it's like
Yeah,
you have a feeling this will work, so you go
yeah,
with that feeling, and it hasn't really
yeah.
done you wrong, so you just keep going.
Yeah, pretty much. Because if it has, I just know that I need to like reevaluate what I was thinking. I
Right.
guess if that makes sense. I don't even know. That's a good question though.
Yeah. Sorry, you're gonna be
I'm
really deep
like,
thought tonight.
I don't know. I'm like,
Have you played the Pirates of the Caribbean Sea of Thieves?
Oh, like the tall tale that
Hmm.
they have. Yes, I have. It's really good.
So I'm gonna recommend. You don't have to do it obviously because I recommended Hexis, which I think is gonna be tough to do. It's got to be if you do Hexis, it's got to be the smoke Hexis.
Yeah, that's what you're saying. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I wrote
not
that
the
down.
skeleton. Everybody always does the skeleton.
You're like, no.
um, but no, another one that would be dope. That would be so technically difficult that if you were to pull it off, I'd be like, you're God or whatever. You're this next tier. Whatever's up there. Davy Jones.
For some reason, I had a feeling you were gonna say that because
Uh
I'm like,
huh.
that would be really hard.
Could you
Maybe don't.
imagine every tentacle, the reflection?
I can't even. Yeah, that would. Oh
That would
gosh, that would.
elevate it though. That would push you. That's the thing that you need though.
That's
That
true. That's
push
true.
to the next round because everybody always gets pushed back by something. If you do
Right,
Davy
right.
Jones, I feel like that'd be like damn. Like it'd be an endeavor. That's you know what?
Yeah.
As a recommendation, you should do that for like a 12-hour stream or like a big
Oh
stream or
gosh.
something.
Right.
Hmm.
I've done pretty long body paint streams. Oh my gosh. And sometimes I don't know how you are when you get into something, but when I get into body painting, sometimes I just won't stop. Like I'll just be
Yeah,
sitting there the
I
whole
can't
12
stop.
hours.
The
Yeah.
time, it's called the time
Yeah.
effect, where you look at the time and it's 8 hours later, and you
Mhm.
still don't
Yeah.
want to stop. You're just like
No, and
so
you're
into it.
still going. I'll literally have commands and stuff so that people can remind me, like, hey, you need a drink, or hey, you need to get up and stretch
Right.
for a
Oh
second,
yeah,
or
yeah,
you
yeah.
need
No,
to.
I was in
Yeah.
your chat one time. It's so funny how like you need water to stay alive, but it's one of those things where you were so into it, and then you saw the hydrating, like, of course.
Like, I need to drink water.
Yeah.
Like, I've been here for 6 hours and I haven't even drank anything. Yeah.
That would be a cool stream though. You could do like a pirates theme stream, and then
Yeah, that'd be
play
cool.
Sea of Thieves with the community while you go with and blah 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 blah.
Yeah, like I did a Halloween one where I did a Ouija board, and
I don't like Ouija boards.
most people don't, but it was supposed to be for Phasmophobia.
Ah,
And so what we did is after I did that, we all played Phasmophobia, and yeah, it was fun.
have you played Forewarned yet?
I have not yet, but that does.
Very fun.
Yeah, it
Egyptians
looks
going
fun.
into pyramid, and there's mummies, and the mummies talk back to you, where it's like, "What's your name?" He's like, "I am," and you're like, "Whoa, okay."
I heard that you could also like be like once you die, you could technically
So
kill your
get
friends.
this: you can kill your friends if you want. You die, you come back as a mummy, and the game has this built-in software, so it augments your voice in your microphone. So when you try to talk
Oh,
to your friends, you sound like. It's so cool,
oh
too.
my gosh, that's insane. That's
Yeah.
cool
I
though.
like it more than Phasmo. I played Phasmo for quite a bit, and then I just got a little bored. This is same mechanics. It's just there's little things that make me love it a bit more because it's a bit more simplistic.
That's fair. That's fair.
I'm trying to remember what was it. Oh, it's unnerving because the mummies, just like the ghosts in Phasmo, they all have their own traits or whatever. There's
Hmm.
this one mummy that can take form of your friend.
Oh gosh.
So
Okay.
you're running, right? And your friend's behind you, and there's that moment where you're just like, "So, do you know where we're going?" And he's like, yeah, I'm going this way, near the tunnel of light." And you're like, "Well, there's no tunnel of light. What are you talking about?" And you turn around and you're like, "Wait a minute, where are you right now?" And he's like, "I'm back near the opening." And then you realize the person that's been with you the entire time is
Yeah,
that
oh
mummy, and you get
gosh.
so scared, and it
Oh,
moves
that's
like weird,
creepy.
like it does a shoulder tilt, like in the. It's
Oh
fun though. It's
gosh.
very unnerving though, but it's very fun.
I mean, that sounds fun and scary.
Yeah.
I'm
So
kind of a baby with those.
what games would you say you tend to play?
I mean, it always depends. It changes a lot, but
Like, what's the ones that like it makes you feel good? Like, I go home at like right now I'm just playing Lego Star Wars because it's like it makes me feel so calm.
right, right. I know that like I do have a Switch, and my go-to games on it would be I have actually Lego Harry Potter, and then I have what's it called? Then I have what the hell is it called? Animal Crossing,
Animal
and those
Crossing.
are
There
kind
you
of like
go.
yeah.
That's
I was like,
very
what the
zen.
heck is it called? Right. And so yeah, those are fun ones to just do. But I mean, I do play honestly. Sometimes when I just want to relax, I do play Sea of Thieves because I'm like, this is fine. Just sail the ocean.
Right.
Just
That's what I do. I've been trying to. It's so funny you say that. Literally, there's times where it's like I don't even play with anyone. I just
yep,
sail and I try to
yep.
just look for the like. I have two megalodons left. That's it. And it's like I
Oh,
just try to
that's what I'm
look
trying to
for the
do right
megalodons.
now.
Yeah, I got the first three. I need the last two, which are ultra rares, and I hate myself for it. But the first time I played, it had the I believe it was called the Shrouded Ghost
Hmm,
megalodon,
yeah.
and that's the rarest one of all that like never shows up. But that's
Yep.
all I do.
Yep.
That's exactly that. Like you said, I just sail. I just sail.
Yep. Yeah, I've been trying to find all the megalodons recently, actually, which is funny. And I'm like, God, why don't they don't spawn as much as
They
I
don't
thought they
spawn
did
as
for
much as
some
they
reason.
used to.
I'm
Nope.
like, where are they?
There
I got
was.
Kraken a million times though, and I'm like, well,
Isn't it weird that the Kraken showed more than the megalodon?
yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm done with the Kraken here.
It's funny though. When I was playing, I think it was the Pirates one. There was a glitch when I went back up the water. It was completely pitch, and there was like storms going. Every single megalodon, Kraken, ghost ship was all spawned at once
Really?
on
Oh
the
my
entire
gosh.
thing, and it was I started sailing, and sure enough, 2 seconds I died, but I saw like 100 megalodons, and it was like insane, and I was like, oh.
That's pretty crazy.
So
It's
what
funny
would you
though.
say? We're at a 102. We got 28 minutes left.
Okay.
What would you say? Let's go through your favorites of everything in the world. Um, what is your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie? Oh gosh, that would be a very difficult thing. You know, it actually probably isn't as difficult as I thought. I actually like The Little Prince. Have you ever watched that?
It was on my list.
Yeah, it's amazing for many different ways, and probably not like everybody's cup of tea, obviously, as most things are. But actually, it's what my tattoo is. But I love The Little Prince. I
That's
love The
cool.
Little
It
Prince.
felt
It's
like in
really
the way I
good.
saw the trailer. I'll 100% watch it. It is on my
Yeah.
list. It felt like an Americanized version of a Studio Ghibli film. What I gathered from the trailer, where it's
Not
very.
really. I mean, I guess, but to me, I don't get those vibes. It is from a book. I don't know if you knew that.
I knew that. Don't know the
Okay,
book.
yeah,
Not familiar
yeah,
with it.
yeah.
I saw it got great reviews, but I was
Oh, yeah.
watching. I think the film that I went to go see over that at the time was Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Oh, really? Okay, okay,
I think,
okay.
but I'll watch it 100%.
Yeah, no,
Uh,
it's really good. Yeah, it's definitely a recommendation of mine. It has those like real life feelings. It like to
hmm
explain it more, it's pretty much telling you that you shouldn't follow everything that society says, if that makes sense. Like you
Gotcha.
should allow yourself to be a kid when you can be a kid, because I know that like obviously, especially with I, I don't even know, but I just know that society kind of forces us to be a certain way, and that's kind of what it's saying. Like just
Right.
be yourself. Like just be who you are, and
If you like
don't follow the
Disney, like
crowd.
Disney.
Yeah,
You don't
exactly.
know
Actually,
how
that's
many
kind of what it is.
people. I There was somebody at work, and he's a bit of a stickler. Like I'm not
Yeah.
necessarily negative towards people, so I just let things
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
This guy brought in his old Pokemon cards for me to try to go through and try to see if there was any value, and there's a lot of friggin' value. But
Yeah.
the guy at work comes by and he's just like, he just starts laughing and he starts like saying like, oh, I wish I was a kid. Like it was basically bullying. Whereas like he's
Yeah.
condemning, and it's like he was first of all, we're not playing with him, we're trading him, and who gives a
But
shit if we're
even if you
freaking
were,
playing
like,
with
what
it?
difference
Right?
does it make? Yeah.
Who cares? Like I've gotten chastised so much for liking Disney, and I'm like,
Me too.
what's wrong with what's wrong with liking the happiest place on earth? What's wrong
Yeah.
with being a part of it? And they're like, well, it's for children. I'm like, it was created by an adult. It was created by adults. Are you gonna make fun of them for creating
Well,
something?
and it's literally a place made for children and kids. It's supposed to be for both. It's
Right.
not just for kids, and it's like, but and if you don't like it, like who then don't
You
like it.
really
Like
don't have to say anything.
yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like
know. Like,
it's literally a place when you're there. It's like that. Somebody said a brilliant point. They're like, the difference between Disneyland and Disney World is, you get a lot of Californians coming into Disneyland, and they can be a
mhm.
bit. They're what's the word? They're not neighbors. They're neighbors to Disneyland. It's very a familiar base. So not a lot of
Yeah, yeah,
vacationers. I'll say that. A lot of
yeah,
familiars. When you
yeah,
go up Splash Mountain or whatever it is now, you see California. But when you go
yeah,
to Disney World and you go up a roller coaster, you see a world literally
yeah,
created for happiness.
yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like, damn right I like Disney. Like, why the hell wouldn't I like Disney? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah, that's the thing too, is that sometimes when you ask people, like, okay, so why? They're like, I don't know. I'm like, have you ever been there?
No,
No.
just wanted to say
It's
it.
like if you've never been there, like it's okay if you don't want to go either, but you can't be like, I hate this. I've never been there. It's like, what? That'd be like me being like, I hate fish, but I've never tried it. Like,
Right.
how would
True.
I know? It's
Um,
funny.
I should say mine. So mine they're scattered. My guilty pleasure movie is The Mask with Jim Carrey. I love it.
Oh, of course.
Just
That
like
one's good. That
it's
one's good.
so fun. It's just pure serotonin. I don't care. I know
Yeah.
it's not a concrete movie, but it's just meant to be fun, and I
No, it's
adore it for
that's a
that.
good one. That's a good one for sure.
I love Aladdin, but there is an argument to be made without the genie. It's actually not that great, but
Yeah, that's fair.
but that's there too. And then my greatest of all time that I think is perfection, solid 10 is I love The Godfather Part 2. That'll always be.
I've never seen it.
It's very powerful. So if have you seen the first one?
No, I haven't seen any of them.
It's an endeavor. So if you're gonna watch them, they're 3 hours each. The first one, iconic as hell. But what the second one does that the first one doesn't is there's character development. You learn about everybody in the family, and it's very well
Cool.
done.
Okay, yeah.
So besides movies, let's see what we got here. What is your favorite style of food?
Style, ooh, that's a tricky one because it always changes. I actually, not that anybody ever believes me, I love food. And my mood will change a lot, but
You food,
oh,
really?
well, a lot of people are like, oh, okay, well, you're skinny. And I'm like, doesn't mean I don't love food.
Yeah. It's like that comic
Um,
book. What is it? Archie, with Jughead in it.
oh yeah,
Jughead eats all the
yeah.
burgers and he's super thin.
Yep, that's pretty much how it is. Like I
Yeah,
love
I have a
food, and
high
like
metabolism. Beat me up for it.
yeah, right. And I love Mexican food, and I love Chinese food. Like Mexican food, I love though. Like I just love for some reason tacos and chips and salsa,
Right.
and like the basic, I guess you would say, but still like delicious. And I like genuine. Like you go to a Mexican restaurant and it's like genuine Mexican food,
Hmm.
not like Americanized Mexican food where it's like spicy and there's a
Right.
lot of seasonings, and the tortilla chips are actually like tortilla
Scratch.
chips. Not
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. You get that
Yeah, like
salt taste.
yeah, not like a what because sometimes you say that and people are like, "Oh, like Taco Bell." You're like, "That is not even
That
Mexican
is not
food." Like
even Mexican. Yeah.
that's barely food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a weird rip
Yeah.
off of a stereotype of a Mexican.
Right, right. What about you? What's your
Mine
food?
used to be Chinese food. I'd say for like 25 years it'd be
I,
Chinese, but for some
and I
reason
can
the
agree with
past
that.
5 years, man, I just love an American burger. Like
Me
I just,
too,
or like
though.
if I
Like,
go, yeah, if you go to like Red Robin, the different styles of
yep,
burgers, you
yep.
get like a Hawaiian burger, you get like a teriyaki burger. Like I just love
Right,
the
right.
idea of the variations, and I think that's my new favorite because with Chinese food, there's some places that pump it so full of MSG it affects your
Oh
mood
yeah.
like
Mhm.
crazy, where it
Mhm.
becomes a bit like just you don't want to like have it
Yeah.
anymore because you know what it is. It's just gonna make you eat more and more of it because you get hungry every time you finish a plate of it.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But American food, it just feels like you eat that burger, you eat those fries, you drink your soda, boom, you're good, you're full, go home, have fun.
Well, yeah, and like for some reason, I don't know how you are, but whenever I travel, for some reason, once I get to my destination after traveling all day, I'm like, I want a burger. I just
Right?
want a burger.
It's
Like I
so
don't.
weird you say that. Even when I'm at the airport, like I get off at like a commuter area, it's like I want a
Yep,
burger.
I want a burger. I just need a burger. Like
I
I don't need any of this other stuff. I just want a burger.
I don't know if you watched the show, but I have the cookbook from Bob's Burgers,
Oh,
and
really?
it has
I've not seen it, but
every single
yeah,
recipe in the entire show of every burger they made, and you
that's
can make them from
awesome.
scratch. Um, yeah, burgers are amazing.
Yeah, they are. They really are. They
I
really
got
are.
so the only item I've ever purchased back in the day when they had the as seen on TV commercials where it went on for like 3 hours or whatever. It's like,
Mhm, mhm.
get this, get this. I got this thing and it's still available and I recommend it tenfold because it absolutely works. It's called Stuffs,
Stuffs.
Stufz. And what it is it's this red thing that you open up, you put meat here, ground beef here, and then you go like this and it creates an indent and then you fill it with what you want, and
Okay.
you close it. You put it on the pan, you sear it, and when you open it up, you can have like spinach and mozzarella in there, and so it's like a
Oh,
sealed
okay.
burger. I recommend it tenfold.
That's cool. Yeah, that sounds good.
All right, this one's gonna be rough, but what's your favorite candy?
Oh, Reese's probably.
I was
I love
gonna.
Reese's. I
That's
love
my
Reese's.
second place one. The only one I'm a sucker for, and if I see it, I buy it. Dead on. I love Nerds Ropes.
Wait,
I think they're the
that
most
is so random.
I think they're the most adorable, fun thing I've ever seen in my life. Because I used to be hooked on the Disney Wonder Balls. I don't know if you
Oh,
remember those, the
okay.
chocolate with the
Yeah,
toy in the middle. When I see a
That's
Nerds rope, I
awesome.
just like I can swing it around. It's like a Fruit Loop. I can do this, that. It's got Nerds. It's got a gummy in there.
That's hilarious. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
That, the Reese's, and then probably 100 grand because it has like every single thing in
I
there
like Hundred
all at
Grand too.
once.
Yep, yep, yep. I love that. Whenever I was a kid and they had the little miniature 100 grands, I'm like, give me that. My brother liked Whoppers, and I'm like, you can have my Whoppers. I
Whoppers,
don't
yeah,
want
the
those.
Whoppers could get out of style real fast.
Yep.
I was in a streamer stream last night, and she was doing it's called Tier Master, where you can
Oh,
rate
okay.
like the candies, and she put candy corn as number one.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I said. Like it was
Huh.
perplexing.
Huh.
What would you say? I don't know if I said no. We talked about. We didn't say the favorite. What's your favorite video game?
My favorite video game. Nino Kuni. Have you heard of that?
No, I thought you just swore at me.
No, right? No, it's called Nino Kuni. It is Studio Ghibli, as you mentioned earlier.
Okay.
It is so good. Like the story is really good, and there's Nino Kuni 2 as well, which is good. But the first one is definitely the better one, and I love it. I don't know what it is about the game, other
Nino
than
Kuni. I
just
didn't even know Studio Ghibli did video games.
yeah, they're just like partnered with whatever company does it.
Gotcha.
And oh my gosh, it's so good. Like they have it on Switch now, but it was originally a PlayStation only game. It's just so good. I highly recommend
Okay.
it. Highly
Nino
recommend.
Cooney,
Ni no
and
Kuni.
the Little Prince.
The little bit. Yep.
Those are my list. I
What about you? What's yours?
I like Kingdom Hearts 2, but
Okay.
that's an obvious. But there's a game I don't know if you've ever played it. It's called Shadow Colossus.
Mm-mm. No.
It's one of the best games out there. It's very simplistic. It's a lot like Mario, where this prince needs to awaken a princess from a deep sleep, and in order to do
Got it.
that,
Got it.
he has to slay the Colossus.
Okay.
The Colossus are so gigantic in this game. It's fantastic. Like I can't
Really?
put it into details. I'll send you a trailer with the
Okay.
Disney photos I send you, but it's so well done and it's simplistic. That's the thing. It's very zenful. The music is very
Well, that's cool. That's
ethereal.
cool.
It's very peaceful. You're riding with your horse. You can call your horse by name and understand. Like it's very peaceful and
Hmm.
tranquil, but it
That's
is
cool.
fantastic. So what else could we say? Because we got 17 minutes left. Do you have any questions for me? While I try to think of questions for you.
Um, so so you've been doing, you said the interview stuff that you've been doing, that's newer for you, or have you been doing? Because I saw you did the one today, right? With
I that was okay. So the channel is Monster School. It's made
yes,
up
yes.
of multiple categories. There's something called
Okay.
Monster School, which is something I do with Mama, who's the artist that like actually draws.
And that was the one today, right?
That was the one today.
Okay, okay.
That's where we just talk about horror. We try to create an understanding of horror that's not necessarily as bad as people think. There's actually a lot of tragedy moments in it, and it
Yeah,
shouldn't
yeah.
be treated the way it is.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
we talked about one episode how it's not allowed in the Oscars basically because you never see it, and they used to have a Spike TV award, but basically a dichotomy of horror is what I do.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
influencer spotlights, which is what we're doing now,
Yeah.
which is
Okay, okay.
basically creativity. Like I go out there and I just try to find creative people that are creative beyond belief, and then I just interview them, and then
Okay.
hopefully try to support them in some way. Besides that, I do the celebrity interviews, which is like I interview the voice of Mario, Sonic, Oogie
Wow.
Boogie, Jack Skellington. We recently did Karen Gillan, who is in
Hmm.
Doctor Who.
Oh, that's
Um,
awesome.
Ruby Roundhouse and Jumanji she played, in Nebula and Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, dang.
Um,
Okay. That's really
yeah.
cool.
And then before that was John Berthow. He played the Punisher and Shane in The
Okay.
Walking Dead, I believe. But that's pretty much it. The interviews is pretty much I've been doing. All this stemmed from the game shows, which I mentioned, which
Yeah, yeah.
I love to do with streamers, because like because I feel like my position on this earth is not to create necessarily, because I want to direct with all my heart. Like that's my ultimate goal
Yeah.
in life is to make a
Yeah.
movie. But for some reason, I never really get joy in people giving me things. Like if somebody gives me something, I don't feel the same emotion that a lot of people get. But
That's
I
fair. Okay.
love giving back in some way. Like,
That's
so if
cool.
I do a game show and I'm just talking about the streamers or trying to support them in some way, and then you see them grow over time, it's like the best feeling in the world. It's like
Yeah,
serotonin
yeah.
almost, where it's like, I got to help you. You know what I'm saying? And you
Yeah,
got to
yeah,
help
that's
me,
really cool.
and you learn, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's cool because the payoff of all this is, and it didn't dawn on me until somebody told me, a lot of the people I seek out are people that I can eventually use in the film industry. Like it didn't
There you
dawn on me
go,
because
yeah.
everybody's done in some way. But that's
Yep.
primarily it. We're wrapping Monster School next week. I'm trying to replace it with a show I'm calling Bump in the Night, but I
Okay.
don't know what it's going to be. I know I want it to be something where I just talk. A lot like a streamer, but like I want it to be different where I give people the option to just come on. But I don't know. I haven't figured that out yet. But that's pretty much it. Like
You're
I just
getting
like
there.
talking to people like yourself,
Yeah.
like anyone out there where that wants to talk. I just love talking.
Yeah. Hey, yeah, I just want to talk.
Yeah, that's
That's
all I want to
awesome
do.
though. That's cool. Yeah, because I was like you said, you just randomly popped into my stream one day, and I'm like, I don't even know who this person is. Like, not that I ever know when random people pop in, but
Right.
um, I think it was just the fact that you had followed and then you immediately subbed. I was like, that's weird. Nobody ever does that, and that's why I was like, who is this
Yeah,
person? I was like,
I wasn't even. I don't
yeah,
think I was. Yeah. No, it's just that it's the weird aspect where it's like again, like I wish I could bring up a clip of the episode when Monster Me, Mama and me were talking. it's just so heartbreaking because the most creative people are the people that go unnoticed in the world. So it's like it's hard because it's like you can't shine a light on everything.
Yeah.
It's difficult, but you can try. But even when you
Yeah.
try, you feel like you're not doing enough.
Yeah.
So
I
you get that.
and it can always bring people down, and then they don't want to do the thing that they're good at because they feel like they're not, because they're not getting,
Right.
like,
It's
support and stuff.
but you're stuck. That's the problem. That's what we ended
Yeah.
on. You're stuck because the thing is,
Mhm.
Twitch doesn't belong to us. If Twitch wants to do, hot tub streams, etc., so it's all it's completely Twitch.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
I was Twitch, I would have done different categories a bit more
Yeah.
that flexed, not like just shove everybody that does art into one category and then leave
Yeah.
the ones that have the highest metrics in their own. That seems a bit
Yeah.
whatever, money driven to me. But at the end
Mhm.
of the day,
Yeah.
we can't do anything about that. And
No.
then you have that realization when you hit end stream, maybe, oh, maybe I can make a business in the real world, and then you realize how tough the real world is.
No.
So
It's so hard. Yeah.
it's this never-ending loop of like, how
Yep.
do I not only get paid but also share my creativities with others? Because you don't want your creativity to ever go wasted. That's the ultimate Achilles heel in life.
Yep. Yep.
So that's
I know I
basically
get
it.
people that oftentimes come in to my stream and they go, "Well, why aren't you doing this full time? Like, why isn't that your
Why
job?"
aren't you
Because it's not,
famous?
obviously. Yeah, and I'm like, I can't answer that because, like, for one, I sit back and I start doing the thing that I'm sure a lot of people do. You're like, I'm not good enough. Like, I'm not good enough yet, so that's why I'm not doing it. But then it's also the fact of I don't know what to do. Like, how do I make myself seen more, and how,
Right.
like, in the case of doing it in real life, like, it's not like you can just go over to a movie scene and be like, "Hire me." They're like, "Nah, we
Nope.
don't know you,
Yeah,
so
we don't
bye."
know you.
Yeah, because a lot of the times in the movie industry, it's who you know, not your talent, and that's just, like, a weird thing, at least for the artist part, I found out later, because I have some friends that do work on movies, and they got in because they knew somebody. It's
Right.
always just like, "Who did you know that got you here?" And it's like, "I don't know anybody," so I'm like, "Okay, I'm
Yeah.
just doing it because I like it."
It's tricky. The only advice I take for myself and I try to give to others is, in terms of making it in any regard, whether you're an artist, a chef,
Mhm.
uh, any occupation whatsoever, is don't concede to the ideals of modern society. Don't do it the way they tell
Yep,
you to do it. Don't, and all like the
yep.
school aspect, but don't. If you want to be an actor, do not apply to that actors.com. If you want to be a chef,
Oh,
don't
yeah.
go to the like find your own way to do it. It's like you got to
Yeah.
find your own way to do it because otherwise you will get stuck cuz people kept telling me I'm moving to New Jersey eventually, so cuz
Mhm.
there's a film studio in New York that I want to commute to and et cetera, et
Yeah,
cetera.
yeah, yeah.
But originally I wanted to go to California. They're like, you can't go to California. I was like, why can't I go to California? They're like, everybody wants to be an actor in California. I'm like, because everybody's doing the exact same thing. They're all
Yeah,
hiring an
exactly.
agency. You got it in order to succeed in anything. If you do it different, nobody knows what different is until you do it. It's like
Yeah,
Quentin Tarantino shook up the film game because he was doing it differently. It's not until you
yeah,
do
yeah.
something different that it becomes the new normal. The problem is you guys are
Exactly.
focusing on the new normal.
Mhm. Yeah,
So
yeah.
it's rough.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough, like, in general, any artistic, whether it's, movie editing or music or art or anything, it's always a catch-22 if you'll ever do it as your full-time job, because it's a hard thing to get into, and also you never know what the world is gonna like at one point, because a lot of the most famous artists were only famous after they died. They don't even know. They have no idea.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
it's like so when you look at it that way, you're like, for all you know, you will be famous. You just will be famous later on. Like, it's such a weird thought process, though.
Yeah. It gets into that existential realm that everybody hates where it's like they go from either creating some like you so say right now like you're painting a spaceship
Oh
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
that thought hits you where it's like will I be remembered?
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
those
yeah, yeah.
thoughts where it's like why do I keep doing this? Like those contradictory thoughts. Like I
Hmm.
know oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was
Oh, you're
agreeing. I was
breathing.
just agreeing. I'm just like, yeah,
Hydrate. um one of the greatest things I ever learned is if you ever hear yourself say what if, it is always anxiety.
oh yeah,
Always. What
yeah.
if can never apply to anything. So whenever I'm working and I hear what if,
Hmm.
or I
Yeah.
say what if, I stop
Yep.
immediately. And it's helped
Yeah.
me tenfold in terms of what I'm doing,
Yeah.
because a lot of people don't realize in terms of like creativity, not only the amount it puts on you, but it does this thing where I truly believe, and people always say like, whatever, you're mad for it or whatnot. I believe everybody has the ability to be great. And they're like, what do you
Yeah.
mean great? I'm
Yeah.
like, you could be Elton John if you wanted to.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, how is that possible? I'm like, you have opportunities every day. And it always starts when you wake up in the morning, because everybody has the same thought. I want to call out of work. I'm going to stay in bed. I'm going
Yep.
to not do anything. I'm going to stay comfortable. Everybody thinks that's their conscience talking to them, but it's real anxiety. It's trying to keep you comfortable.
Yep.
Anxiety is meant to make you comfortable. It's not meant to harm you. It's meant to
Yeah.
make you comfortable. So much
Yeah.
so that when somebody starts writing a book, they only make it to page 2 because they're like, I'll never get through the extra 90. It's like, that's anxiety, not your It's like, if you can
Yeah.
fight that voice, pretty soon the thing that's making you uncomfortable will be your new comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree with that. And then it sucks when like anxiety takes over people. So when you have an anxiety disorder, because I do, which
hmm
sucks. That anxiety speaks so loud sometimes that you literally just feel like you should give up, and then you're
Yeah.
like, no, that's just my brain,
The
just
voices are more
over
up
it.
here than they
Yeah.
are here.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, just like get over it. Like, and it's dumb because you can't just get over it. That's not like
That's the worst thing to ever
logical.
say with somebody with anxiety.
Oh
You
yeah, oh
just
yeah.
get
When people are
over
like, just
it.
get over
Just
it,
be
you're like, oh, trust
happy.
me, I would. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Abracadabra. Beep.
Yeah, I mean, if I could, I would. Yeah, but it's true. In the end of the day, like, yeah, if you could just get over it, like
Yeah.
that'd be fantastic. But it's not always the case.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to go through hell to get to heaven, I believe is the analogy.
Yeah, one of the quotes that I really like is actually from a short film called "The Butterfly Circus." I don't know if you ever heard of it,
I will watch The
but
Butterfly Circus,
the
The Little
Butterfly
Prince,
Circus.
and Nino Taka Taka.
Yeah, right. The Butterfly Circus is only about 30 minutes long, and it's one of my favorite short films. But one of my favorite quotes from it is, "The greater the struggle, the more glorious the triumph." And I believe that to be true. Like, if you actually fight for all the things, then you put forth the effort. It's not going to be easy, so therefore the triumph will be great because you fought for it. And so instead of just getting something handed to you.
hmm
So,
Absolutely. I mean, it works in every regard, whether it be
oh
weight
yeah,
loss or trying to do
yeah,
this, that,
anything.
it
Yep,
works.
yep.
All right. So that is our time. How about you
Nice.
show off this piece that you did?
I mean, as much as I can. I mean, it's not perfect, obviously, because
Why do you
given
got?
the time frame.
We
I don't
just
know,
had
because
this
that's all I
whole
have.
morale building
It's not
conversation. Okay,
perfect.
okay, all right.
But yeah, I mean, it's space.
I like
So,
it.
I don't
I
know.
like it.
Yeah, it's very simple. I was like, what can I do that's simple enough? Because I tend to do very intricate, like, takes me 20 hours type of
hmm
things. So I was like, what can I do that's small? And then one of my coworkers actually was like, do space. And I'm like, I'll do a rocket ship with space coming out of it. And she was like, or that.
Or yeah,
she,
sure.
she was like, I don't know. That's not what I said, but that's fine. So yeah, that's it.
Well, I thank you very much for coming on. I'm gonna be in your
Yeah.
stream like crazy. Um, but no,
Yeah.
from to be on all honest with you, I
Mhm.
really I don't want to get choked up. It's so amazing what you do, and it's one of those things where whether you glance over it or don't glance over it or see this or that, when I see this, when I showed my friends this at work, it's one of those things where they're just it's gobsmacked where you're making a difference without knowing you're making a difference. Because if you think about it, I came into your chat, right? And I was completely random. And say there were like a max of 27 people in that chat. Those people are there for a reason. They're all from different parts of the world. It's like right now I'm in my location. You're in your location. Somebody could
Yeah.
be in
Yeah.
Florida, somebody could be California, somebody could be there, there. They're all watching you from around the world. And that's amazing to think about
Yeah.
because you have this talent that's like triggering them that makes them want to stay. Like I've never met someone like you that has this level of talent with body painting and
That's so sweet.
it's so it's going to sound cheesy, but it's cool that I get to be a part of it when it's at this level because I
Mhm.
know eventually you'll be at this level, and it's one of those things where I'll be like, "Hey, hey," like
You're
trying
like,
to
"Remember me?"
get your like, "Hey, down here, little prince, right? Hey, I said little prince. Look at me."
Right.
Like, but no,
Yeah.
I just want to say from the literally the bottom of my heart, like creativity is the most flattering form that the world can take, and you take it in full stride.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot. Like, yeah, because in all honesty, ironically, the day that you came on here and you said all those nice things and you whatever, and you even reached out to me and asked me to do this, I was actually in such a bad place that I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like, I don't know if I should keep doing Twitch. Like, I don't know. And then like it just gave me a boost of confidence. I was like, oh my God, like what you just said right now, I'm like, you're right. Like people are there. I don't know why you get blindsided sometimes when you're like doubting yourself.
In the head.
That it's just like, yeah, yeah, the head. Yeah,
We're
exactly. That I
here
was
to
just like,
watch you. Like I hate saying this because I'm so against people putting anyone on a pedestal. But at the end
mhm,
of the day, this is a
yes.
lot like a late night show where it's
Mhm.
we're here to watch what you do. That's the beauty of it. And you do it so
Right.
well, we want to stay. So I just can't wait to be a part of this journey where you just like go off and then hopefully I'm not like left in the afterdust or the afterburners
No,
and I'm just
I hope
like you
not.
forgot me.
I definitely hope not. I'm not one of those people that would ever. Oh gosh, I don't know. Like I know that people talk about the bigger streamers do. They forget they don't talk to chat. And I'm like, I hope I'm never like that. Obviously, I can't say I don't know what it's like, but I'm like, oh,
Right.
I want to make sure I'm so close to, and I'd like to help my community. I'm not a big streamer, obviously, but anytime I can, I'm like trying to raid my friends and people that are supporting me so I can support them back. And I'm like, oh, I just want to make sure that everybody's like included in any way,
That's
like
awesome.
as much as I can. But
Well,
yeah.
thank you so much for coming on. I'm gonna end
Yeah,
now.
thank you
I
for having
will
me.
see you on your stream.
Yeah.
Um, everybody check her out. She's amazing. She's delightful. She's the best in the world.
Oh, God.
All
Well,
right.
thank you so much for having me.
I'll see you later. So I got Little Prince. I got Nino
Ni no
and
Kuni.
Nino Cooney, and I got the Butterfly Circus.
Yes, yes.
I'll get it done.
They're good.
Thank
All
you so much
right.
for coming on.